I think we have really strong players, so we have no excuse, kinda. If we don't succeed, I feel it's because we didn't work enough.
I think we have the tools to go far if we manage to use it right.
Keeping the same roster is definitely an advantage over other teams. We know how to play with each other, and other teams have to develop their synergy.
We know each other really well, and we believe in each other's skill in the game.
Especially since people have really low expectations for us. Everybody really motivated and really want to prove everyone wrong.
Memento's got a lot of damage, jumps into the pit. Oh! That's a barren steal for Memento!
Our expectations for Spring Split and Summer Split and even international stage is just winning. We want to prove that EU is not just another region.
To you live from Berlin, Germany, as we continue to bring you coverage of the 2017 Spring Split. Tonight, after struggling in Week 1, Vitality, Splyce, Giants, and Fnatic are all fighting for their first series wins. We can see the huddle of Splyce there as they will take to the stage to fight Vitality. Hello, I'm EpicSkillshot supporter. Joining me here at the analyst desk are Martin de Fisho Lunge and James Stress O'Leary. How are you guys feeling? Day 2 of 4, still going strong?
Still going strong. Yesterday was fun. A little bit wacky, I feel.
A little bit wacky.
Maybe better today.
Yeah. Just a bit crazy. It's going to be a long marathon for the 4 days, but so much league, good action. I'm getting ready for it.
Definitely. You talk about yesterday being wacky, and let's take a look at the standings after that day of competition yesterday and 4 days in total. G2 Esports and Misfits reigning supreme in Group A, and Group B, H2K and Unicorns of Love. A lot of teams will be having their eye on moving up in the standings today.
Yeah, no real surprises. And just to correct the graphic a little bit, it is 2-0 for Misfits and Unicorns of Love as well, obviously, because they won yesterday. And I don't think it's too surprising.
It puts us in an interesting situation for some of the games later on when Misfits face G2. So now you actually have these top-of-the-table battles coming up. So, you know, a lot of interesting matchups this week. It's certainly Misfits going to need a little bit tidier game than they showed us yesterday.
Well, good that you bring it up. Looking back at yesterday, out of all the teams we saw, Misfits, Roccat, Unicorns of Love, and OG, is it safe to say that only the Unicorns of Love looked like they had a game plan and knew what to do after 15 minutes?
After 15 minutes, yeah. Yes. I don't think Unicorns knew what to do before 15 minutes, which actually ended up costing them quite a lot because they fell behind against Origin, who played fairly well early on in the game. Sadly for Origin, it's kind of the same story. You move out of the laning phase and past the first team fight, and everything kind of falls apart, and they got out-team fought by the Unicorns of Love.
It was such a crazy start to the game. The one where, you know, they go in level 1, die at blue buff.
Oh, that one was
just hold everything. Origin looked pretty good, but then the start of the game for Misfits in their series yesterday against Roccat looked pretty good, and this is a series we thought Misfits should fairly handily take. And, you know, it started great for them, getting the kills in lane, but then they did nothing for 15 minutes in game 1, and it just continued to be a trend.
Yeah, because first game was very one-sided, but we had that critique anyway, as Stress just highlighted, but obviously that was a pretty easy win for them. Second game, on the other hand, with the pick and ban phase that I didn't enjoy, and the play in-game from Misfits as well that I didn't enjoy either, kind of ended up being this super back-and-forth game where Alfari had to backdoor with Ignar to finish the Nexus against a team like Rocket, where I feel like Misfits actually were just a better team, but kind of hindered themselves a little bit.
Frost Kern once told me, if you have to win the door via the game
you
via
win
a backdoor, you are not playing the game correctly because you should have won it some other way.
I mean, I guess that technically is fair.
That's kind of true.
That's kind of true. I mean, it was true yesterday, at least for Misfits.
Yes.
Okay, well, let's dive in on what we've got in store today. Vitality versus Splyce and Giants versus Fnatic. If there ever was a theme, redemption, making amends, recuperation for all of these teams, especially Splyce and Fnatic.
Yeah, Splyce, after getting dumpstered by H2K, like completely dumpstered.
Not even close.
Very disappointing to see because we expected a lot from Splyce coming into this. There were slow starters in the summer split as well, where they became a top team. And they played probably their second strongest or strongest European team at the moment. I think G2 and H2K are very close to each other. That is a small excuse for them, I feel.
But there was a reservation, really. Yeah, exactly. It's not really an excuse because we thought summer split, they looked great. We thought, okay, they finished second in the league. Maybe they just stay at the same level and improve everything else. But that series versus H2K was so dominant. There's some stats on your screen to show just how much they got crushed. This was one of the biggest defeats we've had in EU LCS history.
Yeah, you can lose a series versus H2K, but losing it and being down 8K at 25 minutes in game 1, 10K in game 2, and getting finished off really quickly, no.
No, I just love seeing this. Like at 15 minutes in game 2, you're down 700 gold. That's nothing. That's fine. 10 minutes later, you're down 10K gold. I'm like, how wrong can you have played that mid game?
You're very jolly about your Danish.
I mean, it's a shame. It's been a rough week for Denmark. We dropped out of the World Cup in handball very early. Now Splyce got destroyed by H2K. It's tough. We got to see them bounce back now. But I think Vitality really also want to pick up a win.
Well, to see that question, Vitality 0-2 versus Unicorns of Love. And we talk about disappointment in our top 2 team from summer, Splyce. What do you think about Vitality? How disappointed, or where do you see working points for them?
My problem for Vitality is they still seem like this team that didn't really know where to go on the map. It's a problem we saw in the summer split as well. But then individual mistakes. You know, both junglers for Vitality and Splyce were facing off against very stiff competition in the terms of against Jankos for Splyce especially. But Joker was making individual mistakes on Vitality, looking for plays on Rengar against the Unicorns, and just couldn't really find his footing.
I actually asked him about these Rengar ultis down in the makeup room, and he just started laughing and said like, no, and just walked out the room. So he knew, obviously, he made some mistakes. I think just for Vitality, we're going to see, and we saw it a little bit last week, and I think we're going to keep seeing this shift in how they actually want to play, because last year Vitality was a lot about EpicSkillshot. It was like, can EpicSkillshot carry? Can they set him up to be this big superstar? Now I feel like you have Steelback in the bottom lane, and you're in a group where if we compare top laners versus AD carries in terms of pure talent, like Group B top laners, we have Visichachi, Odo Amne, we have Wonder, we have Sartorius, and then EpicSkillshot. That's a lot of good players.
Stacked.
It's pretty stacked, honestly. And AD carries like Samax, Copy, we have Nuclear, and Taps. I feel like it's much easier having Steelback carry from the bottom side. So I actually want to see the shift from Vitality where it's all about feeding Steelback with Hachani next to him, and they can be the big superstars, and maybe not EpicSkillshot.
Yeah, and they certainly went for it. Those Rengar plays, everything was focused bot side. They put Hylissang pretty far behind in that series as well. A lot of early kills that went down to the bot lane, but when it was some really big set plays, the Rengar dive that would have opened up the tower, he ends up stepping on a trap, gives away a kill, the pressure's all released, they couldn't get Nuke Deck in the mix, and it just meant the execution really hindered what should have been a good play.
And how many times are you going to get your hands on Rengar, by
Not
the
many.
way? That's
Probably just this once.
It's like a present. All right, predictions, guys. Vitality Splyce.
I think 2-1 Splyce. I think it's not going to be as easy as Splyce would like it to be. Probably a little closer than the split series we saw yesterday.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think 2-1 is probably, like, it's the safest prediction right here. I think Splyce will come in as favorites despite looking so bad last week. I think Vitality are definitely a good enough team to actually win some games here, so it might be a really close series.
All right, we've had some harsh opinions on both teams, so let's see what they bring to the Rift. The players are almost ready to get into picks and bans, so let's hand it over to the caster desk.